Hello, welcome to another episode of This, That, and the Other. And I haven't been on for a while. I have run out of ideas, and I do have a small list, probably about three items so far of things to do in the future. But I I like to kind of save that, hang on to it, so I don't run dry on things to talk about. Well, somebody wanted me to discuss what I think about the whole thing about why the Dallas Cowboys don't wear the blue colored jerseys very often. And I did actually discuss that on a show several years ago about why they don't wear them at home. And you go back to the history of the blue jerseys. They when they started in 1960, they had they're blue and I believe on a white shoulder part. I believe the shoulder part was white. Jersey was blue and they had like a blue star, I believe. They were royal blue back then, if I'm not mistaken. And they switched to a royal blue and silver pants. Then they switched the pants to like metallic blue, which I have never liked those metallic blue pants, but they had those with the royal blue jerseys. And then they early 80s they came up with some jerseys that were navy blue and silver numbers on them and silver pants. So they've come up with different combinations. And what I understand, what I know, the Cowboys wore the blue jerseys at home from 1960 to 1963 season. 1964, what I was reading, Tex Schramm came up with the idea that they should wear white at home so that the fans could see the other team's colors. That was basically the reason. It had nothing to do with any kind of superstition or losing, as far as I'm concerned. Rumor has it that the Super Bowl V, when they played against the Baltimore Colts, NFL had different rules back then. One of the rules for that Super Bowl was that the home team had to wear the color jerseys, and Dallas was considered the home team, so that's why they wore the blue jerseys in that game against the Colts, and they lost that game, and that's one of the rumors as to why they didn't like to wear the blue jerseys. And from what I understand, Roger Staubach didn't like them, and you go on throughout the years. I don't think they care as much anymore, but you're starting to see them wear the blue jerseys at home maybe like one or two games a year. They've started doing that. And I've talked to people that are Cowboys fans and asked them, what do you think? Would you like to see them wear the blue more? And they said yes, they would. They said that they're getting tired of seeing white jerseys every time the Cowboys play, and they'd like to see the blue more. So I don't know. It's one of those things. I don't know if you took the percentage of how many the players on the team as to who would likes wearing the blue jerseys, who doesn't like wearing them, and who doesn't care either way. Like to see what the percentage is now, and probably not as big of a percentage as it was back in the 70s when Roger Staubach was their quarterback. But I actually like those royal blue ones that they had during the 60s, 70s, and I wish they'd wear that for a throwback game. I thought they were kind of cool looking, and yeah, the ones they got now are okay looking, and you know, you got other teams in the NFL that wear white at home too. You got the Miami Dolphins do a lot. Mainly because of the heat. They'll wear the dark jerseys for night games. Cleveland Browns have been going back and forth on wearing white at home and wearing the colors at home, and there's been different teams that have done it. There's been teams that have done it for like one. I saw the '64 Vikings did it for the 1964 season, wore white at home. So kind of interesting. I guess they Giants did it for 1 year back in the early '80s. It's I guess basically so the fans can see the other team's colors. And, it's okay. I mean, I did read that the AFL had a rule that home teams had to wear the color jerseys, and I thought at times maybe the NFL needs to make that a rule. Just keep it one way, but whatever. Yeah, I like seeing the color jerseys, but yeah, it's I wouldn't mind seeing some games where you have both teams wearing the colors. You really you could do it with a lot of teams now, unless you put the Cardinals against the Kansas City Chiefs wearing all red. That was You wouldn't be able to tell the teams apart. If you get to the point where you can't tell the teams apart, then you got to do something different. But if you had like the Redskins playing, or well, the Commanders playing the Eagles, they could wear they could wear their burgundy. The Eagles could wear their green. Wouldn't be a problem. You wouldn't want to have the Jets and Eagles both wearing green. That would be more of a situation where you'd have trouble telling the teams apart. But if the uniforms aren't jerseys aren't the same color, then yeah, why not? I'd like to see something like that. I know in college football for a while, USC would wear and UCLA would both wear their colors when they played each other in games until the NCAA stopped it. I think they've allowed it again. I don't know. I don't know if those two teams do that or not. I haven't watched much college football in quite a while, but the real reason the white jerseys came about in the first place, from what I was reading, is that you had black and white television back in the 50s, and it was so that people could tell the teams apart. That's why they created the white jerseys. I believe back before that, I believe both teams would wear the color jerseys, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, that's what I have to say about the Dallas Cowboys and the blue jerseys, and them not liking them and all, and everything else and what have you. Anyway, like, subscribe, share, and looking for ideas on shows to do, because I'm running out of ideas. I'm about to go dry on ideas on what shows to do. I've done over 800 and approaching 900. I want to get this to over 1,000. It would be great. But anyway, thanks for watching.